Hello, and welcome to the Tie Show for April 22nd, 2020, where this will be my final mock draft. So I'm here supporting my two favorite teams, the Browns, the Chargers. Let's get into this. Got my ratings right here. We're going to go over defense first, as we went over offense yesterday, even though I'm making some slight changes. I'm not talking about O-linemen, uh, but actually I'll run through the O-linemen too. But let's start with my number one overall pick. Of course, I think we're all set on this one. It's Joe Burrow to the Bengals. Um, Joe Burrow will go number one in the Bengals, and I have no shock about this at all. Number two, Chase Young to the Redskins. Easy pick again. I don't see any. Some people try to throw off to the Redskins, but I don't see them dropping down out of this spot. And same thing with the Lions at three. See them taking Jeff Kodu. I don't see them dropping out. It's the three set players. You look at any mock draft as the top three picks. No one's looking at anyone else. Four is where it gets interesting. The Giants, who I think should take Isaiah Simmons. In my opinion, Isaiah Simmons is the next best player in this draft class, but they've said straight up that they need an alignment. So I have Tristan Wirfs from Iowa going number 4, and then it gets really interesting after that. As we talked yesterday, I do have number 5 being Justin Herbert to the Dolphins. I think they are officially on the Herbert train, and that looks like the pick for the Dolphins, unless there have been talks that they might trade up to 3 now and try to take the best O lineman, which makes no sense to me at all because they want to keep 5. I don't know how they're going to be able to get the Lions that far down unless they throw some future first in there. But if I'm the Dolphins, I stick at 5. I take Justin Herbert. 6, I have Tua going to my Chargers. Like I talked yesterday, I'm not very high on this. I could also see him going with Isaiah Simmons. I think it all comes down to what their draft report says on his hip, his scouting report, his medical evaluation, whatever you want to say it is. That depends, but I will be shocked if the Chargers don't take Tua if he's available, which leads to my 7th pick, to the Panthers, Isaiah Simmons. I think this is also a great spot for Isaiah Simmons. The Panthers look like they're on the rebuild this year. He's the best linebacker in this draft, and probably the second best player in this draft. I think Chase Young by far is the best player. Burrow's going to go 1 because quarterback needs. They go at the top of the priority. But Isaiah Simmons 7th. Cardinals, as I have here. Supposedly, Kyler Murray wants CeeDee Lamb chosen here. They did an interview with Lincoln Riley today. Lincoln Riley talked and said that he thinks that CeeDee Lamb to the Cardinals is the best place for him to go. But they need no lineman more. Kyler Murray is such a small quarterback. I was worried about this last year that they need O line to protect him. They had the worst one 2 years ago. I don't have the stats in front of me to tell you how bad their offensive line was last year, but they definitely need to improve that O lineman. So I have him taking Jedrick Willis out of Alabama to play the tackle spot for him. Number 9 to the Falcons, Derek Brown out of Auburn. They will make the trade with the Jaguars, move up to 9. As you've heard the reports, they want to trade. They wanted to get up to 2 to take Chase Young. Redskins are saying no, so I think they get up to the highest spot that they go. The Jaguars clearly are trying to get rid of players, get rid of picks. Most people are saying CJ Henderson here, but I think that they want that big time SEC player, which Atlanta really likes to thrive with those guys. I think Derek Brown's a pick here. He's the best player on the board left. Go with Derek Brown. My Browns, number 12, we definitely need it. Got to go in Andrew Thomas out of Georgia, the tackle. Didn't show great blocking against South Carolina in that one game, but strong tackle. It's definitely what the Browns need to protect Baker Mayfield. Now they just got to figure out if he's the quarterback of the future. At 11, as I've been saying for the last week, I think this is where CeeDee Lamb's going to go, but I'm going to switch that up. I think the Jets go with Mikael Beachum, being out of Louisville, the offensive tackle. I think offensive tackles are going to fly off the boards, as I'm clearly saying right now. We already have 4 go in the first 11 picks. I just think that that's what most teams want. There's not that many after these guys, so they're trying to take them fast. I think there's enough wide receivers for them to get somebody later on in the draft. And they could even trade down, the Jets could, but I think Beacham's talent is too high for the Jets, which leads to my 12th pick, my number one receiver. Of course, it's CD Lamb. Got him falling one spot from what I projected. He'll play in the Raiders. I think he fits John Gruden's offense really well. If you go to Fox Sports, they're projecting him to fall one more spot to the 49ers. But we'll see what happens there because I have my shocker here with the 49ers is I think they're going to take Justin Jefferson. I think out of all the receivers, yes, Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, they're better, but Justin Jefferson fits that 49ers offense better. If they want a player who can make plays, just look at that semifinal game against OU. Justin Jefferson's that guy. Destroyed OU, who had a top 25 defense this year. I think that he just fits Kyle Shanahan's play offense a lot better. They're not relying on the speed of Henry Ruggs. And I think Justin Jefferson should be the pick if they don't trade down. There are reports they're trying to trade down. I could see that happening. If they're picking someone, I think they will. I'm going to go with Jerry Jeudy. Or Justin Jefferson. Sorry. 14. My stunner, and this is going to make a lot of people mad out there. 14th pick being Jerry Jeudy to the Buccaneers. Yes, they do need a right tackle, but after the Jets taking Beacham, I don't think there's a good one that can convince the Buccaneers not to take Jerry Jeudy. You put Jerry Jeudy in that offense with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and Gronk, Brady has so many weapons. It wouldn't even be funny anymore. I don't think if the Buccaneers have a chance at Jerry Jeudy at 14, I don't think they can pass on that. So that's what I have right there. 15, the Broncos. I have them officially taking Henry Ruggs III. They need another wide receiver to put next to Cortland Sutton. And if Henry Ruggs still on the board at 15, I think that's a steal for the Broncos. Because I think for sure if the Jets don't take a wide receiver, the Raiders will. 49ers, if they stay there, will. And if the Buccaneers have a good one left on the board, they're probably going to take it. So them to get Henry Ruggs, the fourth wide receiver off the board, is a steal for the Broncos. But I think that's what's going to happen. 16, we get off the wide receiver train. This is where the Jaguars traded that ninth pick. They fall back to 16, and they get Javon Kinlaw from South Carolina. I think he's an amazing player, and I think that they'll get a pick future on too if they want to. They maybe throw in Leonard. I wouldn't throw in Leonard Fournette, but they might throw in Njoku into this trade, trying to get him off the books. Falcons, I think, could be a spot for Njoku and get a future first from the Falcons for that. And they still have the 16th pick. They take Javon Kinlaw from South Carolina. He'll replace Calais Campbell on that D line. 17, C.J. Henderson to the Cowboys. Our best corner off the board other than Jeff Okoku. But you're going to see, I'm going to start rattling off cornerbacks because this is where they start coming in. I think C.J. Henderson could go top 10, but he's not a great tackler. We saw that at Florida, and I think he falls to 17 to the Cowboys, who have always struggled a little bit at corner, and that's the one thing they're kind of missing on their defense. Be interesting if he goes ahead, if they get C.J. Henderson. 18, the Dolphins. As we talked earlier, they're trying to trade up for an O-lineman, so I don't think they're going to pass on one here. And Austin Jackson out of USC is the big guy. Um, he needs some time to develop, of course, but he'll be a good piece for that Dolphins to put on the left side. He has upside on that left tackle spot. 19, AJ Terrell out of Clemson. I think this is the pick for the Raiders since they got their wide receiver in CeeDee Lamb. They go with the defense. They could take him or they could take Trevon Diggs. I think AJ Terrell is a little bit better, so I'm going to go with AJ Terrell here to the Raiders. At 20, Jaguars stay there, take another defensive player. K'Lavon Chaisson from LSU. I think I pronounced that the right way. Played really good at LSU this last year. One of their best players. And I think that he'll be a fit in that Jaguars defense who, if they get rid of Njoku with that trade, can kind of take over that edge spot for Njoku. 21, as I've been saying for the last week, I still have it as Kenneth Murray to the Eagles. As much as they would want a receiver here to replace a Nelson Aguilar or somebody like that, I feel like you can't pass on Kenneth Murray on this punt. They need another linebacker. Kenneth Murray It's the best linebacker on the board at this point, and I think this is where you take him. 21. 22, I have Jalen Johnson out of Utah, the corner. He's one of the most underrated players in the draft. He's good toughness, good ball skills. Just didn't get enough credit. He gets played in the Pac-12. But Vikings 22 get a steal here, and Jalen Johnson. As I said yesterday, I did not have any tight ends in the first round. I'm switching that now and going with Cole Kmet out of Notre Dame, number 23 to the Patriots. I think he sneaks into the first round. He would help the Patriots' run game, and I mean they weren't planning on having Gronk, but now that Gronk's off the board and he's for sure not returning for the Patriots, why not get a tight end? You can't run Benjamin Watson, who I think retired. I don't even know who their tight ends now. So go get somebody in the first round. The Patriots clearly need one, and I think the quarterbacks that they want will still be available in the second round because I don't have any more in the first round. Shocker. No Jordan Love. No Jalen Hurts. None of them going in the first round. They'll go second. 24, I have Jalen Reagor out of TCU. I know I mentioned T. Higgins, but from what I'm seeing, he's falling in the draft a little bit, so I'm going to switch up a couple of my picks. I think Jalen Reagor it could be that Ted Ginn player for the Saints. His speed is legit. I mean, it's not as fast as Henry Ruggs, but he'll be a playmaker for the Saints, kind of like Ted Ginn did, where he's just the deep ball threat for Drew Brees and whoever else they get at quarterback. 25, the Vikings. I know they need a wide receiver, but as I was talking, T. Higgins falling on the board. I think they go with Yetur Gross-Matos out of Penn State, the edge defender. He could play opposite of Daniel Hunter. Be a good pickup for them. 26 to the Dolphins. As we talked, their line is so weak. We're going to go with Cesar Ruiz, the center out of Michigan at 26. And he'll start day one for the Dolphins. That's the reason I'm putting him there. This is when I put Trevon Diggs in at 27 to Alabama. I would be shocked though. I'm just going to say this. The Seahawks always trade out of their first round pick. So if they don't take Trevon Diggs here, okay, they trade out of it every year. I'm going to project that they take Trevon Diggs because I don't see why they wouldn't take Trevon Diggs in this situation. But they always do trade out of this spot. 28, the Ravens taking Patrick Queen out of LSU. And yes, I think he is a top 15 player in this draft. I think he falls out of the Ravens, and the Ravens get a complete steal with him at 28. 29, another tight end another tackle comes in, and Isaiah Wilson out of Georgia. He'll replace Jack Conklin on that Titans offensive line. He's gotten the build up a lot lately. It's a lot higher than a lot of people are saying, but the build on him has been really high. So I'm going to stick with him going 29 to the Titans as they really need somebody to set there. They do need another receiver. As I was talking, Brandon Ayuk, but I think the tackle to replace Jack Conklin, who was one of their best players in that right tackle spot, is huge. So that's what I would do if I was the Titans. 30, talking, we did say Jordan Love. I think that Jordan Love could still go here, but I'm going to say that Brandon Ayuk is the pick here from Arizona State. If he falls past the Titans, I don't think the Packers can pass on him. And I feel like they can make a trade early in the second round, or somebody else will to go get Jordan Love pretty early in the second. It's kind of like last year with Drew Lock, how we all thought he was going first round. He didn't, and then we were all waiting for him to go in the second round, and the Broncos finally traded up and got him, and look, he's starting for the Broncos this year. But we'll see what happens. Packers, Brandon Ayuk, 30. 31, if the 49ers don't trade out of this one, I have them take Jeff Gladney out of TCU, the corner. Just another player to put out there. He's a feisty playmaker. Give him some youth and speed in that secondary. Jason Verrett, Richard Sherman. They're really old out there. Give him some youth in that corner spot to help him out. And 32, the Super Bowl winning champs, the Kansas City Chiefs, take Ross Blacklock out of TCU, the defensive tackle. It's one of those players that it's right up Andy Reid's alley. Big trench guy, and also if Chris Jones doesn't want to re-sign with them, it'd be a perfect replacement for Chris Jones. So that's my first round predictions. As I've talked, I still have Jalen going to the Bears at 50. Still have Gallimore going 65 to the Bengals. That Fox Sports one also, I just want to bring this up. They had Kenneth Murray going 20 to the Jaguars. So in that 20 to 25 range is where I see him. He'll definitely not get past 28 to the Ravens. If he falls all the way to 28, the Ravens will take him in a heartbeat. So Kyler Murray will for sure be the number one pick. And Lincoln Riley had some comments on him today too, saying that the speed D format of Alex Grinch helped him out a ton and progressed him from a great linebacker to an elite linebacker. And I think that goes with the whole a lot or the defensive line just in general. Um, you saw Gallimore improve, you saw Motley improve, and both those guys who were probably projected, Motley wouldn't even have been drafted. Gallimore would have been late. And like I said, Gallimore could go anywhere in the first to third round. Motley's probably going to be a fourth round pick. It's crazy to see where they've fallen based on what Alex Grinch has done, and I think it shows that Alex Grinch is the right choice for OU. But yeah, that's the draft. I'll bring up a video tomorrow of course, reviewing the first round. We'll talk about every pick, all the trades that happened, because I expect it to be crazy as they've been running tests this week. Make sure there's no glitches. I think there's only been one that happened on the Bengals, um, but I think they'll figure that all out. I think it's something that brings some clarity to us and some fun that we have this weekend. Like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we have the draft now. Like we have something to look forward to as sports fans for the first time in a while. That's really all the sporting news. We had an interview with Chris Paul today, who, of course, is Player Association president. Just talked about how there's no immediate plans to return to the NBA. They're just planning on coming there. I mean, they're working on it. If that's There's multiple ways they could do this and quarantine the players where they could quarantine and all this and that. But as he said today, that they would at least need 2 weeks to a month just to prepare. Most of these players can't practice in their houses. They don't have gyms. They asked Chris Paul when the last time he practiced. He said that layup line before the Jazz game when they canceled it because of Rudy Gobert. I mean, he has a basketball court outside. We saw that in the horse competition, but is he running plays? Is he practicing? No, he's just shooting around. So yes, they're gonna need 2 weeks to a month to improve, but I think that there's multiple ways you can do it. You can go jumping straight into the postseason. You could play the rest of the games. We'll see what happens. I think they will finish the season no matter what because it'll be a lost cause if not, and they're gonna lose so much money if they don't. I mean, don't expect fans to be in the arena, but they finish out this year and then the fans come back. Let's say they start the season like we've been talking on December 25th. Even if they do a shortened season next year because of it, kind of like the lockout year, I could see that too. If they wanted to go back to normal, if they want to stick with this December 25th and run till July, August, and then do the draft in September, they could do that. But we'll see what happens there. Right now, not really worried about that. We're more worried about the NFL draft. As I said tomorrow, I'll do my recap on what I think. It should be exciting. But leave your likes, comments, talk about where you think I'm going to go or people are going to go. If you got some trades that are going to happen, do you think Leonard Fournette gets traded tomorrow? Do you think Njoku gets traded tomorrow? I only projected one trade technically, and I think that's going to be a lot more. That's just the easy one for me, is because the Falcons have been talking so highly of moving up. I think they will move up, take a player. We'll see what happens though. That's all from me today, and I will talk to you all tomorrow night. Peace.